Welcome back to the Coach Walk Corner. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go interview style. And coaches, what do you do after a game? Do you have a plan? Do you have a strategy? Do you have some logic to what you do with your players after the game? So we're going to talk about a strategy, a tool called Afterglow, something I've done all my career, and let's get in it.
So, Ordell, you have used the Afterglow in with every team that we've been a part of. You used it was a part even when you were a player. So, what is the origin of the Afterglow, and what what does it look like?
Okay. I'll tell you what it looks like first. So basically, after a game, we invite all of the fans or players, so family, whoever came to the game, support the players' administration. We invite them down to the field, and so we huddle up together, and I usually kick off the experience and just kind of give my general thoughts of the game, and then we take turns, coaches and players, highlighting different aspects of the game. So players maybe will do what we call a put up, which is kind of an encouragement. They'll tell why they are doing the put up. So maybe a player made a great play on a fourth or something like that. So we just take turns complimenting and highlighting each other in front of their friends and their family. And then towards the end, at least we did this at college, we do introductions. So sometimes we have family come from way out of town. And so we want to thank them and introduce to the this whole thing started, at least it was introduced to me through some coaches who had worked at PLU, Pacific Lutheran University out in Washington. And so their program, a Hall of Fame coach, Frosty Western, started this, and they won multiple national championships. Yeah, just a powerful influence on my life through some. So they painted a picture of what this would look like, and when I was a player, my junior year, my head coach began doing this, and through my coaching career, we just kept it up.
So, how does this add value to the programs that you've been a part of?
A couple different ways. I think first, it helps to build team. So, and team in the sense that at least my sport, football, it's all men. I think sometimes we have difficulty in encouraging and complimenting each other. So it's powerful when a teammate compliments another teammate on something they've done on the field, off the field. Word of encouragement. I think that's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool for family who have come to the game and see that. I mean, it's always a blessing. I have two sons. It's always a blessing when I hear the good things that the teacher has to say about my son, and it's even more powerful when teammates are doing it. It's so rare. It's so uncommon. So it builds relationships. It builds each other up. Encourage means to put courage in someone. So I do believe it helps when you hear those compliments, and especially when like it's real and heartfelt. So that's been one of the biggest values.
So I think it's also important when coaches are encouraging players. What do you do when you have a coach on your staff that doesn't have a background where an Afterglow has been a part of their previous coaching experience?
Yeah, I think as a head coach, you obviously have to teach your vision and paint the picture, and hiring the staff or training the staff, you let them know what the expectations are. So, for me, I'll just speak for myself, but I'm an introvert. This a lot of times maybe uncomfortable, even though I've been a head coach. I don't like being the speaker out front all the time. I want to be in the background, and so um, I have to fight through that maybe uncomfortableness. And I want our coaches to do that too. I want our players to do it. We want to model um, being an encourager. I think it's such a powerful thing for dads and men to encourage each other. So, in terms of being able to really implement the program and the culture that we want, I have to have coaches who are willing to also be modeled. So it's not just a coach doing it; it's the influences of the program, which the coaches have, and then
Mhm.
the captains. That's just a part of being on the leadership that you do those things. So it's something that prior to every game, I remind the coaches. Obviously, we do this training in preseason, but it's like, hey, when the game's over, every coach, you got to do at least one put up.
So I think for me, through the years, some of the most powerful afterglows have been uh, when there's been very difficult losses. And that has been an intentional choice on your part. Win or loss, there's going to be an afterglow. Why have you made that choice?
Um, when well, adversity, I often talk about this. Adversity reveals who you really are, and so if these are powerful experiences, and I really believe that it's so important to encourage each other, um, peer to peer, coach to coach. If that's just kind of a staple of who we are, and I want them that to be who they are by the time they leave the program, then we need to do that even in adversity. One thing I often think about, I think sometimes in our culture, we when we are upset, when there's disappointment in our lives, a lot of times we feel like it's okay to bring that energy, bring that negativity home. So I had a bad day at work. It's okay to bring that home, no matter what's going on in my family and different things like that. So the afterglow is a great tool to learn how to, even as I face disappointment, I get out of myself to encourage my teammate. And it's a great carryover to when I had those bad days at work, but I still have that toddler at home. Tyler doesn't care that I had a bad day. There's just happy dads at home. And so I want to be able to give that positive energy to my family, even in disappointment. And the second thing is it's kind of like a funeral in a sense. Certainly a difficult situation being in a funeral, but oftentimes people tell stories. And many times those stories are humorous. And the humor brings healing, the encouragement brings healing. And so even though, that a funeral is not a place where you think of laughter, it always happens in that situation. So losing a game is certainly not as difficult as that kind of loss, but it is. We put in a lot of time. Our players are putting in a lot of time and energy, blood and tears, and so it's a grieving process. So the put ups helps to heal them. It doesn't mean what happens in the game didn't matter. The bad things that contributed to the loss. What we're just saying is Friday night or Saturday afternoon after the game, that's not the time to talk about that. We'll find the good thing, and even in this bad situation, we'll get out of ourselves. We try to pull up our teammates. And then on Monday morning, Sunday, whenever the next time, we'll have evaluation and we'll correct what needs to be corrected. But when a parent is down on that field with our family, I don't think that's the time where I have to point out what that player did wrong. It's a great time to, even in the loss, here's the value that I saw that you brought to the program. I try to communicate that at that time, and at another time we'll correct.
Mhm. Yeah. So every program is going to look a little different. What are some variations of the afterglow?
Yeah, I think I think one in the our culture, at least what I found. I'm in a public high school right now, and so parents are not allowed on the field. We that's something we don't do. And although it's a powerful thing, I certainly understand at a public high school, different areas where you can see some potential issues after certain games with family coming on the field. So we don't bring family on. So that's although it could be a powerful thing, but you also can do this just within your team setting after the game. Um, Practice wise, I highly encourage you to do these things. In practice, we have what we call a spotlight. And so maybe we're not doing a full fledged, everybody take turns, or a lot of people take turns and encourage each other and do put ups. We will be strategic about maybe the coaches picking out 3 or 4 players that we want to spotlight that day. And so it's something planned out. And we work through the whole program, encouraging the players and maybe point out the value they bring to the program, especially if you can communicate the value they bring outside of them being a good player. So, everything's not transactional. You play good, we like you. Play good, we don't want to communicate. But I would say with the spotlight, I think it's powerful for coaches to lead that, but it's also will be powerful to your leaders. Um, like, hey, we're gonna talk about Johnny. Make sure I like for you to be a part of the spotlight and say something about that. You can pre-plan this. So, whereas the afterglow is spontaneous, you don't know who's gonna speak. We don't know what you're gonna say. The spotlight is something that you can make a part of your program every day if you want to just uh, highlighting different players each practice.
And does it always have to be out on the field?
Oh, not at all. I know with our program when we do put ups after a game, we never do it on the field. We go right to the locker room. Yeah, in the locker room setting. So you can do it. You can do it anywhere. It's up to you.
Awesome. So I think that the one thing I would say about an afterglow is that it's a great way to involve families and to allow players to get to brag a little bit about each other. So if you can allow families to be a part of it, it's great. But if not, um, even if you can do that once, maybe at the banquet, and allow parents to kind of see what has been happening all season long in the locker room, it's a great way to kind of give an insider's view into what's been happening with the program all season. It's a really special thing, even if you only get to observe it
Shameless plug. Beth's book. That's from the sideline. That picture is from Afterglow. The better version of the picture by book.